What's up, y'all? It's finally here, the last album in our lead up to the comeback. It almost feels overwhelming, but I'm going to save that for later because we have the potentially most convoluted lore coming up. I've mentioned this before, but I want to reiterate because I've realized that this is the most recent comeback. It's from this year. There very possibly can be a lot of new people, in which case, hello. I have like 40 videos about Ateez, and I've listened to every song they've ever released. Yeah, the little plug, you can go check out the playlist. But I bring that up because I have heard Bouncy. I've heard it. I've heard it so many times. That was the first. It was one of the first songs that like truly gripped me when I first got into K-pop, which is April 9th, 2023. Not even a year. Yeah, so I've heard it. I'm not going to act like I haven't heard it. And I've mentioned that before, but I want to make sure that's clear. So, yeah, we got that out of the way. Obviously going to be still watching the music video because I was just looking at Mingy doing body rolls and stuff when I was watching it the first time. I had no idea what was going on. Second clerical thing. Again, if you are new, you might not be watching this, but if you are, as in like you might have skipped to the video, I'll leave a timestamp for the video in case you don't care. I watch the diary entries, like the Eternities videos explaining the diaries. The lore is a very big part of Ateez, so it is a very big part of my experience with them. It's really interesting in case you've never gotten into it before. Again, it's a very big part of this journey. So yeah, obviously we're gonna be doing the same, doing our thing. And I brought up Bouncy about a minute ago at this point because I don't know how the hell we got to this point. The last thing we heard in part one was that they got... Oh my god, what was the last thing we heard in part one? It had nothing to do with this, is my point. And I'm really interested to see how they got to an Old West saloon where they're chili pepper dealers and Mingy is killing people. He's just shooting people in a bar. So yeah, this is an incredibly long intro. You guys know how long it takes for my for my lore watches. It's gonna be so long. I'm sorry. Let's get into the video. I went back and checked because obviously I was not going to go into this with what's happening. So yeah, they established the teasers for Gorilla established the assault on Prestige Academy by the boys, but the diary entries only established the plans to do it, which was something I was interested in, like timeline wise, in the video that I remember now. But yeah, so the last thing in the diaries is that the boy came searching for the Black Pirates, because his brother was woken up and he had to take an exam for school to be set free or like put into the workforce or some shit. So he looked into them and then they saw he was wearing Prestige Academy stuff. So like, oh, okay, we're planning on assaulting Prestige Academy anyway. So that's where we are diary wise. Now, something I forgot to mention in the intro, I am watching this backwards, which means I've already heard the album. If I've already heard the album, I was going to say what I thought, but I don't know. I'll let you guys experience it with me tomorrow. I did that because there were a string of teasers that like established the world of Bouncy's music video, but they're song teasers, and I wanted to go into this as absolutely clean as possible. I've never heard a single second of anything outside of Bouncy. Like, I don't even think there's been teasers, or if there have been, you guys haven't let me know, which I appreciate. So yeah, I went in completely clean, and it enhances the spirits a lot. But yeah, so if I make references to knowing the songs or something like that, that's why. And you'll see. I'll mention it again in the video tomorrow. Just wanted to clear that up. So yeah, let's do this incredibly tantalizing. Is it a remix or just the...
With his anxious face hoping that the members might help, the boy said, "Prestige Academy." Smirked. "That's perfect. We were planning to go there, too.
Yeah,
Prestige Academy. boasting smooth, slippery
Fucking immediately. Oh my god. Does that mean the answer? Holy shit, 23 seconds in. This is going to be a really long video. I'm sorry, but I don't care at this point. They had the same chandeliers in the Bouncy MV and in Halazia, where it was destroyed, but specifically Bouncy because we're here. And they showed this is the sterile white walls. But anyway, oh my god, my mind's missing. My mind is racing. I feel like I just made a big I made a big thought. Oh my god, I gotta calm down. Answer has the same chandeliers as the one that they just showed right here, and I was thinking about Answer being like the main room in the Answer music video being Prestige Academy, and that kind of being the aftermath of the assault. But I was thinking that it wouldn't make sense because it didn't match visually. Like the aesthetic of Prestige Academy wouldn't line up. But this is super opulent. It's white in the music video. It's all white,
boy
so it
said,
still has
Prestige Academy.
that sterile feel.
Smirked. That's perfect. We were planning to go there, too. Prestige Academy.
I was always wondering why they were
walls
dancing
like
in that
of a
room.
Spaceship. Its curved buildings form an enormous circle enclosing.
They're wearing the thing. Anyway, I shouldn't pause and talk for 2 minutes, 20 seconds into a 23-minute video, but that kind of makes me think it's possible. That Answer is like the direct aftermath of Gorilla and that. Holy shit, okay.
In the large quad in its center. When looked at from the sky, it
Why did I
appears
never
as a
notice they
fortress
were
with
wearing
buildings
school
built tightly
uniforms?
together like walls blocking outsiders from entering.
That's the same like type of chandelier. And while the color is not the same, it's the same like era style, like architecture, a little bit at least. It's like influence. I'm sorry.
And in truth, for an outsider entering this place is no easy task. After checking your entry ID at the main gate, you must pass through numerous inspection stations to finally enter. In a way, it's a system similar to that of the immigration offices used to move between countries in World A. While only a school, security is kept strict as only the most distinguished talents of World Z can attend the illustrious academy. In this world, children are required to undergo various tests at a state-certified hospital within 6 months of birth.
Like
After
Gattaca.
6 months of age, a child's natural temperament and talents reveal themselves, and it is considered the parents' obligation to nurture their children according to their innate growth potential. The children who have been identified as talented are able to enter Prestige Academy and are then placed in one of 5 classes depending on the results of their entrance examination. Class 1 is raised to work in the government. They are the ones who will be responsible for researching and implementing systems for better efficiency and control of society in the future. Class 2, which includes future guardians, is trained to control people and punish those who defy control according to government guidelines.
Big brutes.
Class 3 is taught to classify new humans following the system and then educate them accordingly. Class 4 is fostered to handle various tasks necessary for human survival. For example, overseeing new energy exchanges, charging control chips, or the supply and manufacturing of essential energy. Class 5 is in charge of city management, sanitization, and organization, and therefore receive an education reflective of such. The children enrolled in Prestige Academy are educated and trained in these 5 classes before being aptly deployed throughout society after graduation. Their promise to save the boy's older brother aside. As a key pillar supporting the systems of this society, Prestige Academy was the ideal target. By awakening the many children being raised there, World Z's ruling class would be damaged from within. They could shake the system from its roots. Dressed in security uniforms, Mengi and Wung lead a group of freshmen who had just entered the school. With the help of hacking by Left Eye and the Black Pirates, the members were able to sneak into the school in disguise and scattered throughout the complex, each
Okay, so I know Black Pirates is used kind of generally now, and the prevailing thought is that Ateez are still captured. But it's interesting that they would call this out because they haven't established that they're working with anybody else. Like at all. So for Black Pirates to be just like a greater militia group that's taking, the role of Ateez, that would be an interesting thing to put in without establishing the context for it. So I don't know. I'll keep an eye on that. Kind of feels like that's a Ateez reference directly. But yeah, like I said, I understand that that's used as a general term, so I can't say anything definitively. Yeah, okay.
Forming their own roles. Mingi and Wooyoung, who infiltrated the academy's security workforce, were acting as entrance guards after having divided freshmen into their respective classes to avoid suspicion from guardians and others on the security team. Although they couldn't talk to each other, as they had to pretend to have no emotions, the two exchanged glances without anyone noticing, comforting each other's nerves. Just then, the boy's brother, who they recognized from a photo shared to them by the Bay, stopped in front of Mingi. Mingi let him pass, but was quick to send a signal to the group, tapping a transmitter on his waist before the next student came. He just entered the school. Receiving the signal, Wooyoung chased after the boy's brother with his eyes. His uneasiness was clear even from just his steps. Through the transmitter hung at his belt, Wooyoung sent a signal to the group as well. He's passing through the hallway on the right. The boy's brother went up the stairs. It was clear he was heading up to the classroom intended for the eldest grade of Class 2. He's going up to the classroom. Confirm contact timing. The boy's brother arrived at the classroom and sat down, maintaining a blank face. He acted as stiff as possible. He placed his glass tablet in the center of the desk and his pen exactly 7.5 centimeters away in a parallel position as usual. Sitting straight upright as though he were a machine, he gazed at a blank monitor. So far, no one seems to notice my emotions. The boy's brother thought with a sense of relief. Meet me in the restroom on the left side of the first floor. The boy's brother turned back in surprise at the low voice he heard from behind him. Was there always someone like this in my class? He thought for a moment. Thinking back, he realized that in the 40 years of attending this school he had never once looked closely at the faces of the people around him, without the need to exchange emotions. There was no reason to talk to one another face to face, and, for the first time in his life, he made eye contact with someone other than his family or school faculty. Yosang's deep eyes seemed to whisper to the boy's brother, "It's okay."
I was gonna say when he said the deep voice, the low voice he heard, I was like, is that Yosang? Oh yeah, it is.
Have been I caught, he thought, as in response to the boy's brother's confusion. Yosang flashed the breaker in his hand with a small smile. The action said it all. Yosang knew that he could feel emotions. It was then that Yosang stood up and walked out of the classroom. The boy's brother, who didn't yet know if Yosang was a friend or foe, watched him with a befuddled expression. He quickly turned back and looked around the classroom. He questioned, "Did anyone see me?" But no one did. Just like the boy's brother had done before, the students sat at their desks either adjusting their...
I forget where they got the breaker. I know it was either right before or right after using the chromer. They picked it up from the floor. But I don't remember which one it is, so you guys will have to remind me. I think it was right before leaving, like escaping Henry Joe and getting to Yosang, I think. It was in that turn of events, I'm pretty sure. In that course of events. Let me know though, because I'm not sure.
Their setup were focused on their own work. Only the sound of objects clattering around. Not voices echoed in the classroom. That's right, no one here is interested in me, he thought and stood up as if he had made a decision. In the corner at the end of the first floor hallway.
Sorry, I'm sorry for doing this countdown, but it's very funny and very interesting to me. So we are about a fifth of the way done. There's no current trajectory to get to where we are in Bouncy.
He could see a restroom with the lights turned off, questioning whether walking around in the empty hallway in itself would be an action that seemed suspicious. The boy's brother paused for a moment in worry. Just then a long shadow appeared from behind. "Don't worry, we're here to help you." It was Songhwa. Seeming slightly relieved by Songhwa's smile, the boy's brother stepped forward carefully. Songhwa followed behind the boy, as if to protect him. He sent a signal to the other members. "I've made contact with the boy's brother." When they entered the restroom, Yosang was there to greet them and Songhwa locked the door just in case anyone else tried to come in. Now it was just the three of them, Yosang, Songhwa, and the boy's brother. The room fell quiet. The only sound the boy's brother could hear was the pounding of his own heart. He put his hand over his chest. The boy's brother, who was never taught emotion, didn't know what to call the feeling of his heart racing. Is this nervousness? He thought for a moment. Your younger brother came to the Black Pirates bunker last night. He was worried that you might get sent to the disposal site and asked us to come save you. You know the Black Pirates, right? The boy's brother nodded slowly as to say he understood the situation. My only way out of this is to follow them. But what does that make the last 40 years of my life?
Can't think about that
what
right now.
What have I been living for this whole time? And what if I do
Your
survive
mind's gonna
by
explode.
following them? Then what?
I've been alive and sentient and emotion full for 23 years, but I can't think about that without spiraling.
What
His
comes
brain's
next?
gonna explode.
What if following them leads to something worse? These complex thoughts tangled up in his head and bothered him. Yosang and Songhwa knew the boy's brother was feeling conflicted, but there was no time to waste. They explained to the boy's brother that the Black Pirates planned to rescue him, and the Black Pirates' goal was to awaken
Again,
as many.
direct reference to the Black. I feel like Ateez is there. In spite of knowing that that's a general moniker now, it feels like they're specifically saying they are there with them.
Many people as possible at Prestige Academy and create the opportunity for them to choose their own paths. It was inevitable that the sudden rush of new emotions would cause some chaos and confusion. Emotions, confusion. Why would we need those? All it means that a lot of people will have to go through the same thing as I am right now. Chaos, pain, they're not necessarily bad things. You need to feel them to move forward. It's something all people go through. That's what growth is.
Feeling pain.
What's clear is that this feeling of growing through pain is a new, precious experience of yours. It was the same for all of us. The boy's brother stared at Yosang's outstretched hand. His racing heart gradually started to calm down. He wondered what this emotion was called. The boy's brother didn't know what it was, but he could feel the warmth flowing through his blood. He cautiously reached out and grabbed Yosang's hand. Class will start soon. Let's just go back to the classroom for now. Bang, bang, bang. Suddenly the bathroom door shook. The three looked the shaking door anxiously. Bang, bang, bang. Someone outside beat hard on the door. Open the door right now. Otherwise, I will refer you to the disciplinary committee immediately.
Sorry,
the boy's brother, who was still holding Yosang's hand, quickly pulled away and moved back. Then, with painful sigh, he recited, "Thunder, thunder." His eyes shook as Songhwa repeated the name.
Thunder. Answer is relevant. Too many references in movement, so many references to thunder. In New World specifically. Something's there.
Came back to him. Bang, bang, bang. As the door began to shake again, the boy's brother sprang up as if by reflex and unlocked the door. Outside stood a group of students in neat uniforms. On each of their chests was a symbol inscribed with the word thunder. Why are the three of you all gathered here? With the door locked at that. From the crowd of students came a girl's clear voice. The group parted to each side as a female student walked forward.
Be free girl.
Was this the student group the younger brother had mentioned? And she must be their leader, Yosang thought as he recalled the frightened boy from the day before. The female student, who did in fact appear to be in charge of the group, stood in front of Yosang, Songhwa, and the boy's brother. The female student, who looked as though she were the personification of cold, stared at Yosang with a fierce gaze. You don't look familiar.
I don't like that I said be free girl, and then this imagery started popping up. I'm just guessing. I just said it because they said girl. For the first time, they mentioned a girl in this.
Okay. Handed over the ID card he had prepared in advance. When a male student nodded, confirming his name was on the student fist, the female student then turned to Songhwa. For a while now, Songhwa had been staring at the girl with a look of disbelief. In other words, with a face revealing clear emotion. Panicked, Yosang moved to block the girl's.
Could it possibly be the Be Free Girl? Why is it specifying that Songhwa was staring at her in disbelief? With the face revealing clear emotion.
View. I think the door needs repairing. I never intentionally locked it, but it wouldn't open and it took me a while to grasp the situation. The female student pushed aside Yosang's shoulder and looked at Songhwa again, as if she no longer cared for an explanation of the situation. Songhwa was still staring at the girl and the boy's brother had his head down, his hands shaking. Emotions. These were clearly displays of emotion. The girl slowly approached the boy's brother. He swiftly tried to hide his trembling hands behind his back, but the female student grabbed them first. The girl looked down at his very slightly trembling hands with cold eyes. More and more the boy's brother was losing the ability to hide his emotions. His breath shuddered and his face was frightened as if he was on the verge of bursting into tears. At that very moment, when it seemed like it was all over even before the operation had really begun, Songhwa snatched the girl's wrist. Why are you here? And Songhwa's question was
Don't tell me it actually is.
The girl looked back at him with an unchanged expression. She wasn't able to understand the intent of his question. Yosang was the same.
Grabbed her wrist.
What Songhwa was thinking. However, Yosang did note that they needed to get out of this situation as soon as possible, and he quickly thought up an excuse using the logic system of worlds. It's inefficient for us to use our time without a good reason like this. Class will start soon, so would you please let us leave? At Yosang's words, the Thunder group turned to their leader. The girl raised her free hand signaling permission for them to go, and the group moved out of the way as Yosang took the boy's brother out into the hallway. Pulling her wrist out from Songhwa's grasp, the girl asked, "What exactly do you mean? Do you not know what kind of group thunder is?" Songhwa snapped out of his confusion and looked at the girl. In this world, it was dangerous to harbor emotions. He touched the bracelet on his wrist, trying to calm himself down. The bracelet was engraved with the words "Be free." Hiding his turbulent emotion, Songhwa asked the girl again, "Is there a problem with us using the restroom?"
I'm not even mad, like, at all. Because finally, she comes back. I was gonna say, but why is she a kid? But I realized that they're in that school for 40 years, so she could be 35 for all I know.
"I don't think the other students and I did anything wrong." 50. Why did Thunder come all the way to this remote restroom? Looking at Seong was speaking with a steady expression. It seemed as if the female student's face shook very slightly. Is she feeling some kind of emotion? Avoiding Seongwa's eyes, the girl said, "It's Thunder's duty to patrol the school. We need to keep an eye on anyone who might be emotional. This is just one of the places in school we're required to check." Songhwa examined the girl's face without answering. He wanted to find confirmation of the slip and expression he saw before, but her face had returned to its original coldness. "Class starts soon. Return to the classroom for now. I'll let you off with a warning this time, but if you get caught again, I'll have to refer you to the disciplinary committee for an emotion test." The female student, the head of Thunder, turned around and the rest of the Thunder members followed her. Songhwa went out into the hallway, watching the back of the girl as she walked away. The strong, cold-looking girl was the one that Songhwa had been looking for so long. Though, of course, the same girl in World and World Z seemed very different. That girl he had once encountered back in World A. He came across her by chance, on a day when the rules of life, logic, and efficiency were weighing down his...
It's not an incredible guess, because I think genuinely this is the first time they've said the word girl in like 20 diary entries. But just want to make it known immediately. I knew it.
thoughts.
But again,
She danced free,
literally the
letting
first
her
time
body
they
move along
referenced
to the
a girl.
music playing on the street. After meeting her, Seongwa came to realize many things, and everything changed. But on the day he finally decided to muster up his courage and speak to the girl he had been observing from afar, she was gone. Only a bracelet engraved with "Be Free" was left in the spot where she had once danced. For a long time after, Seongwa would often
Diary Film 1. The first introduction of diaries. And they're paying it off with the last album.
go and wait for her there, but she never appeared again. What should I call this feeling? Is it admiration, gratitude, or curiosity? He wondered. Although still unsure what his feelings were, he continued to look and wait for her. But Songwon never expected that he would meet her here in World Z as the head of the student group Thunder, a group considered elite even within Prestige Academy, which only the best talents of World Z, and the ones most loyal to this system of control, could join. He didn't know whether to be happy or sad. However, just as she had changed his life and set him free that one day, Songwa was determined to save her from this world.
Okay, so we are 1/3. I can't do math. I'm sorry. It's more than a. I was gonna say it's more than halfway, and I said 1/3. Ignore me. We're 5/8 of the way, and there's no plausible connection to Bouncy yet. Let's see what happens next chapter.
Taking advantage of the empty campus while the students were in class, the members installed various devices they had prepared in advance throughout the academy. They hid smoke bombs in places they had scouted out, just in case of an emergency. The class bell rang, and the members were waiting in preparation for the upcoming performance at each of their locations when an urgent signal came. The boy's brother has disappeared. It was from Yosang. When the class bell rang, the boy's brother bounded out of the classroom like a bullet before Yosang could talk to him. Yosang quickly chased after him, but he had already disappeared into the crowd of students that had moved out into the hallway. Songhwa, who was moving down to the first floor with the younger brother, was flustered by the signal and stopped. The boy asked in surprise, "Who disappeared?" "My brother." At that moment, one of the students heading towards the quad shouted, "What are you doing up there?" At the same time, the members received another alarm signal. It was Wu Young. "It looks like he's going up the top floor." As a thought crossed his mind, Hengjun looked at Mingi and said worriedly. Just then, the boy shook off Songhwa's hand and dashed out into the quad as he knew just what his older brother was thinking. Wu Young hurriedly climbed the stairs up to the top floor. Wind blew in from a broken window in the middle of the hallway, bright red drops of blood falling from the broken pieces of glass. Looking up, Wu Young saw the boy's brother standing on a narrow railing attached to the window. The boy's brother looked down at his feet. Students gathered in the quad under him and the dizzying buildings. They looked up at him with dull expressions. I had only one day left before graduation. Just one day, and my 40 years of schooling would be complete. But you sense offenders have stirred up people and influenced my brother, and now you've made a mess of me, too. My life is ruined. No life is ever ruined. This won't solve anything. If I don't pass the test, I'll be dragged away to the disposal site. If that's not ruined life, then what is? He shot at Wooyoung with intensifying emotions. As he looked back, Wooyoung, his foot, which had barely been fixed on the ledge, slipped, swinging in the air before it caught the railing again. The boy's brother's breathing was unsteady. At the very least, I was confirmed for Class 2. I could have been a guardian. But now everything's all wrong. Until now, you've lived within the guidelines set by the government, believing that's your limit. Listen to me, you're just confused. Because this is your first time feeling emotion. That confusion is something that everyone goes through as a part of their lives. By going through it, you're choosing your own path for yourself. You've been a puppet so far, but from now on you can live your own life. I guarantee it, and we'll be there to help you. Yeah, maybe you guys are right. But even if you are, I don't want to live a life that's different from everyone else. Tears streamed down his face. With one of his hands that had been gripping the window frame, he wiped the running water he felt on his cheek. Water is coming out of my eyes. What is this? I knew something was wrong with my mind. But guess my body is broken now too, he thought. Brother, a familiar voice came from below. The boy's brother looked down at the quad, and among the dull faces there was only one that showed emotion. It was his younger brother. He could tell it was him even from a distance. The same water was flowing down his brother's face, in the midst of all those same achromatic faces.
I know the reason they're saying they're dehumanizing the act of crying. Sorry, let me sit up. I'm looking like a fool. I know the reason they're dehumanizing, depersonalizing the concept of crying is to reflect the impersonal nature of this world and emotionless and stuff. So he doesn't understand what's happening. He literally thinks water's just coming out of his eyes. But I find it's still interesting given the tears flow like a river and carry I've mentioned this before. I don't remember the exact quote, but from the outro to Fever Epilogue, tears flow like a river and carry us to a new world. This feels like what specifically the imagery, water flowing down someone's face. And I don't know. It seems very specific.
His younger brother's face, which was full of emotion, seemed to shine. It was as if his brother's feelings were being projected on him. He closed his eyes tightly. Is this really what you want? Yunho, who had appeared without him knowing, stood next to Wooyoung and called out to the boy's brother. Yunho was panting because he had run up in a hurry. How should I know? I've never felt want for anything before. I'm just trying to finish everything before I'm dragged off to the disposal site. What about your brother? Do you think your brother wants you to die? Wooyoung grabbed Yunho's shaking shoulder. He knew very
It is weirdly applicable to real life stuff. Sometimes you really do feel like that. Like, I don't know what the fuck I want. I'm just trying to do stuff before I die, and I'm just doing it because I think I have to. That's a little grim, but I appreciate how there's still like these real life sentiments that they're addressing as well.
Very well just what the brother's death meant to Yunho. The boy's brother's eyes shook at Yunho's words. He looked down again. His younger brother looked up at him with a saddened face and shouted, "Brother, no. Please, I just wanted to help you." Just then, guardians ran out of the building into the quad, heading towards the younger brother. No, the boy's brother called out quietly. The guardians will take my brother away, save him, hurriedly turning back towards Yunho and Wooyoung. The boy's brother's feet slipped before he could finish his sentence. His body fell into the air, and his hand, which had been desperately grasping the window frame, finally slipped. It was only an instant, but every moment seemed to move slowly as if time was being dragged out. With nothing to rely on, his body fell and he struggled to seize hold of something, but with only the air around him, it seems all to no avail. Wooyoung, who was watching in shock,
Damn, they're just gonna let a kid die?
towards the boy's brother, but only
Jesus
touched
Christ,
his
that's
fingertips.
intense.
He was already too far away to catch. The younger brother, Hengjun, San, Mengi, Jongho, Songhua, and Yosang, who were watching the scene from below in the quad, could only shout in a stunned manner. Songhua, who was standing closest to the younger brother, quickly covered the screaming boy's eyes. It was at that moment, a light shined behind Wooyoung's body that was half stretched out the window. The guardians, who veered running towards the younger brother, stopped at the flash and looked up. One of the guardians called out, quantum energy, it's the Chromer. When Wu Ying looked back, Yuno had disappeared along with the flashing Chromer. Yuno reappeared in the air for an instant, snatching the boy's brother's waist when he was only 5 meters from the ground. With a flash of light, he disappeared again before materializing in front of Songhua and the boy. With the boy's...
They took it, they got Yosang, and they didn't have to get rid of it again. I'm pretty sure they haven't established it here, but before they established it, they're still in possession of it. Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Brother, of course. Brother, seeing his brother safe in front of him. The boy burst into tears and, as soon as Songhua let go of his hand, ran to hug him. The brothers hugged. They held each other close, shedding hot tears. Through each other they felt desperate sense of relief, love, and what life was. What a relief. Or maybe not. Zhang Ho said, as he approached the other members who were watching the two brothers warmly. As the members looked at Zhang Ho, he shrugged, pointing behind him with his chin. Having caught news of the Chromer, guardians were rushing in from all over. Xianghua made eye contact with the female thunder leader standing among them. On the surface, there was no change in her expression, but Xianghua felt it. It was like she was smiling. Guess it can't be helped. Ming...
This Halazia imagery is still so interesting to me. Sorry.
He shrugged and smiled playfully. Let's go. The group looked at each other and shouted together as they dispersed to their respective positions using the Chromer. William, who had come down to the quad half a beat late, called out as if he was upset at the members who had already disappeared. Are you going to do this without me? A guardian stretched out his arm towards Wu Ying's back. But there was spark. With a flash, Wu Ying disappeared to his position. Beep. With the sound of a loudspeaker, groovy music starting with the sound of rough, low bass guitar filled the air. Along with the music, a large black tent covered the building. A blinding darkness overtook the people for a moment. Then, colorful neon-colored paintings appeared around the buildings and tents. A splendid fantasy world unfolded around the marking inscribed in the center of the ceiling. Breakers fell like shooting stars from above the impassive people, as if bewitched. The emotionless students and faculty reached out and grabbed the breakers like they were catching falling stars. Those who brought the breaker up to the chip under their ears were flooded with waves of emotions. It was nauseating at first, but they were soon amazed by the beautiful world that unfolded before their eyes. As Ateez and the black pirates appeared and disappeared in the dark, the guardians could do nothing but jump after them helplessly. The paintings that filled the dark world then disappeared in an instant, and a ball filled with light fell from the ceiling to the center of the quad. Everyone's eyes were on the ball. The moment it touched the floor, the ball shot out beams of light, exploding like light bombs. The light reflected on the walls of the building.
A lot of stuff is happening right here. I'm sorry, I need to make sure I'm reading this. Ball filled with light. Okay. It's not the same as the Halazia ball with sun.
And the shining walls showed people's reflections much like a mirror. Those who had regained their emotions walked slowly towards the mirror-like walls of the building. As if they were unfamiliar with their own faces, they touched their hands to their reflections and actual faces, comparing the two. Even those who had not yet used the breaker, upon seeing so many people in the same space do 50, began to follow suit. With so many people awakening at the same time, the guardians were confused and unable to decide who they should catch. Just then, the tent disappeared and Ateez reappeared among the students. The music changed and the members danced and sang joyfully. People gathered around them, cheering, singing, and dancing along with the group. It was almost like a concert hall that could only be seen in World A. In World Z, where music, dance, and art had disappeared long ago, this type of scene was something from centuries past. The boy and his brother, standing at the front of the crowd, looked up and smiled brightly at the members. For the first time, their smiles were so bright. Like flower petals in the air, Ateez leaflets scattered in all directions. The students picked up and read the leaflets. Within minutes, the world at Prestige Academy was completely changed. The guardians, trying to get a hold of the situation, rushed toward the members. Their leader called over the radio, "Catch anyone who's awakened. We need hostages." The guardians caught the awakened in front of them at random. The awakened caught now will be immediately disposed of without replacing their chip. If you want to save them, put down the Chromer and come here slowly. Caught in the arms of the guardians, the awakened struggled to get away. The members stopped dancing and looked at each other, troubled. No matter how important their goal was, they couldn't risk the death of innocent people. The members slowly approached the guardians with their hands up, holding the Chromer. The music faded. Just then, when the boy, his brother, and the newly awakened thought it was all over after seeing the members surrounded, boom. Smoke bombs detonated throughout the campus with an explosive beat. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, a rainbow of smoke bombs burst and spread out in beautiful harmony with music, obstructing people's view. The members, who had used the chaos to rescue the students caught by the Guardians, opened the escape route they had secured in advance and ushered people outside and smiled. Everything was as planned. The members gave each other high fives. Then, a scream came from behind. Songwoo looked back reflexively, and through the thinning smoke he saw the younger boy caught in the grasp of one of the Guardians. Where's the boy's brother? The members, who were already stepping outside, turned back in confusion at Songwoo's question, shouting through the thin smoke. He's outside. He's with me. Let's get out of here. When Songwoo didn't answer, worried, San and Yoseng returned to the quad. They could see Songwoo's back walking into the smoke. Past him, they saw a guardian half hidden by the haze carrying the boy. San and Yoseng went to help them, but were held back by people who couldn't escape and were grasping aimlessly in the chaos. They needed help too. Songwoo, who had been running toward the boy, stopped abruptly. Yoseng and San, while working to get the remaining people out, looked at Songwoo bewildered. Seongwoo was staring at someone who had grabbed his arm. It was her, the female leader of Thunder. Seongwoo followed the girl as she pulled him along. The two of them disappeared into the different colored smoke. All too late, San and Yoseng ran into the smoke that the guardian and the boy had disappeared into, but no one was there. No Songwoo, no boy, no female student. There was only Yoseng's voice anxiously calling out to Songwoo.
So what the fuck? Okay, I was talking to one of y'all, and they joked that, like, hey, maybe the diaries just completely ignore Bouncy. And I would imagine they're going to. The thing is, even within Ateez's vast lore universe, I don't feel the need to put every single thing they've ever done into the lore scope. And I wouldn't with Bouncy. Except they show them in the prestige uniforms, and as we get to it, I notice they shoot an android guardian. How do we get there? Why is there lore implicated within the thing and we don't? Okay, it's fine. Actually, you know what? We still have teasers, so maybe that's what we get. Speaking of, first of all, I was enthralled with this story. It was like watching a movie. It was really, really cool. So many references to answer. My God. Okay, we have a lot to get to. All right, this is the trailer. I noticed this when I watched the music video again. This is the only KQ logo drop that has like this letterboxing on the side. I think that's what it's called when they have the black bars. Literally the only one I've ever seen. Maybe that could mean something. Okay. Immediately, I take everything back I've said about the connection. This is just a cool video representing the invasion. Like, they in the diaries, they specifically mention Mingyu being like, okay, let's get it on. And in the music video, he is like, he's going wild in it, like shooting people and shit. Okay, I accept it fully. That's my headcanon now. Because they have the lore stuff, they say what they want to say about it. Bluebird is a prominent thing in the lore. They just wanted a really cool way to express it. And I respect that. That's really cool to be able to get that across. That makes me so much more happy. It feels like like a weight's lifted off my chest. It's very loud. Jesus Christ. Mechanic Uno's looking good. He looks ridiculous. Are you kidding me? You too. I mean, everybody, but Song. Thank you so much for this trailer. Really cleared up a lot of stuff in the heart. And now they're showing them undercover. This is the only time I'll pause during these. I want to roll through straight into the music video. Hearing this preview, very glad I listened to the album first. Considering the stuff about the songs and this is pretty. It gives away a bit of the sense of the vibe, and I wanted to experience that fresh. So I'm glad that I did it this way. Keep it rolling. Where did he go? Jesus Christ, they're giving so much of this song away. Yeah, I'm so glad I listened to the album first. I'm so sorry. That was in the song. I also really... Who's worn that sweater? I don't want to be the look into every little thing guy, but also kind of do. I feel like that sweater's familiar. Anyway, I also appreciate, because I've established my headcanon and I'm not going to be convinced of it otherwise unless you guys convince me. Because I'm taking this as like a representation of the assault on Prestige Academy, I appreciate that every like little undercover thing is also kind of it's an event or a group or like an action that's inherently emotional in some ways, whether it's being drug dealers, which is like there's a lot of negative emotions with that, boxing, like his aggression, being outlaws, going in, getting drunk and then killing people in bars, that's emotional. Doing cars is an expression of art. The comparison is falling apart as I'm saying it, but I don't care, I'm gonna reach for it. Anyway, I'm glad that it's still like an expression of artistic, some kind of emotion or artistic thing, that it helps bring together the like artistic portrayal of the Prestige Academy assault. I'm running with that theory. Or I suppose not a theory, interpretation. I love how open Woo Young Shirt is. I remember the first time I watched this, and I obviously had nobody who it was. I thought he was so fucking cool. Him and Songwoo were like, oh my god. I loved his shirt so much. I was like, oh, he's so sick. Also, if they release something like this for the next comeback, I don't think I could watch it. This is knowing how much I know about the songs. This is giving away so much of the vibes, and I'm reiterating. So glad I did that. I want fresh vibes, as fresh as possible. I don't even know what's next. Do I have the official intro opening sequence? I suppose that does look like him. Mango Thief, wonder who this is. A lot of Mingies. Maybe this is Hongjung. All of them are worth the same. Since I'm here, he's going to look up in a very devilish way, and I can't wait. I wanted to, because Bouncy is going to be like a lore watch. Also an incredibly enjoying it again watch, because I love that song. So I don't want to pause too much during the actual music. I listened to Outlaw, and again, I'll bring up how I felt or whatever, despite it being an Ateez album and you guys kind of knowing how I'm going to feel about it. But yeah, I'll let that be its own experience. But it did establish a new idea of them being outlaws. Like, it literally, because it's the last song of the album, the song Outlaw. It's literally saying, welcome to the outlaw. Like, it's a ending track, but it's welcoming you into something. And with the context of this assault on Prestige Academy and making their faces shown, I do think that that's what it's saying. It's saying that after this era, after this album, there's nowhere to hide. Like, Ateez was already a Black Pirates, they're like notorious, but now our boys, these A world boys, are outlaws. They've become that now. And with the wanted posters and stuff, I really appreciate this type of storytelling. The music video has gained an incredibly new, like an entirely new level of appreciation for me. So cool. When you're the bartender and a customer walks in with this face, what do you do? What the hell do you do? Do you give him a, like, what? What do you do with this? Okay, all right. Bouncy time. Time to make it bouncy. Oh, it's Ekers. I mentioned the letterboxing before I came up with the idea. I think this applies even more to the idea that it's like an artistic retelling, a movie, if you will, about the Prestige Academy stuff. Because, like, this is by far the most out there music video that's supposed to have lore implications. And this is the only one with these black bars, which are common in movies. Or, like, television, like, formatting a long-form entertainment onto a screen. So I think that's why. It's very interesting. If it is, really good touch. This is like a 10 times greater as of a music video for me. But for now, we just gotta enjoy the vibes. Don't you want a Batman? I love this part.
Slow it down, make it bounce. 지금부터 fly. 정답은 spicy. 청양고추 vibe. If you wanna know how, I can show you right now. 우리 만들지 bouncy. 우리부터 fly.
The parrot fucked me up so hard the first time. Sorry, Minky. What is this setting? Oh my goodness. Sorry. I have a frog in my throat. I never noticed this. Interesting architecture, interesting floor. Wonder if that's been associated with something before. Okay. Let me back up on it. Hit the fix on.
You're bouncy,
you put the fly. Don't look at me like that, son. Oh, you did it anyway. I always love Wu Young's face there. The camera work is so good. No matter how many times I see it, the implications of that too is so fucking funny. I think I mentioned it in the video you'll see tomorrow. Sorry about the out of order shit. Hard as dance. They're about to kiss. He just killed 4 people in this bar. And he, imagine you're bleeding out and you see your killer get on the bar and start fucking body. Oh my god. That is so fucking funny. Shout out to my dog, man. Let's go see it again. I don't care. I'm shameless. I'll watch it again. Oops, he's accidentally clicked the wrong scene. It doesn't matter because I'm going to pause anyway. This is where the meat and potatoes comes in. Is this a yellow room? Yellowish, beigeish, tannish? It's a different color than white. That's a chandelier that we've seen before. The framing of this shot very clearly makes that room seem important. Could we have the answer to our question?
좀 다른 spicy 청양고추 vibe. If you wanna know how, I can show you right now. Bounce, bounce, 하늘 위로 fly.
I gotta find the right pause. Oh, I had it. I don't know why. Alright, I'll leave it here because you can see it. They're killing a guardian. He's in a mysteriously dark room. At the end of Answer, when the shit's fucked up, the room is not illuminated. In fact, it is quite dark. We saw that imagery at the end of Halazia of it messed up. They were in there and he was not. Though I had a different theory that I think you guys would have seen by now. Does this mean that could this mean, I should say, that this theoretically happens after, this is the aftermath? Sorry, I'm collecting my thoughts. So, Prestige Assault leads into Answer, if my theory about that room being the Answer room and they fuck up everything. So then we have Answer. And then this part of the MV, this represents the aftermath of Answer, where the Edgewood Guardian walks in and he gets fucking blasted in the head. A lot of stuff to think about. The first time I watched this, and again I mentioned this in the video tomorrow, I watched through. I didn't know anything about Ateez, so I didn't know that they tease songs at the end of albums. Now I know that I'm going to be hearing this at some point, potentially soon. I know the banana. Oh my god, I said banana again. The crescent moon, but Bunny riding it with the punk thing from the QR codes at the burger place. I know that had music to it. I think I heard less than a second. I clicked on it, I realized music, scrolled off immediately. So maybe that's it, maybe that's not, I don't know. But we're gonna hear this soon. And I love that I can finally get these teases. Oh. Okay, at the end of, I think it was Outlaw, Woo Young, it was This World or Outlaw for the live stages, which you'll see tomorrow. Woo Young does a prayer symbol, like sign of the cross type thing, but I'm pretty sure it was in this shape. So this is a new thing to me. And that should mean it's new to all of us, because I have finally caught up. You guys have one more video to watch, as if it's a requirement. There's another video coming that you have the opportunity to watch, is what I mean. But yeah, this is the official ending for me. Except no, it's not, because I have the Bouncy dance practice. I think I've watched like 25 videos today in this recording session. I apologize. Okay, I will. Is he wearing a Raiders jersey? Okay. For any Raiders fans, like me, I know that's not a Raiders jersey. He has a symbol. So I had to make that clear. I'm recording this after they just beat the Jets. We're hyped up. I love how hard that is. love this choreo so much. It's so silly, but it's so fun. Make it bouncy. God, he's so hard. Songho went fucking crazy on this part. So I love that choreo, but I also love seeing them snap into line. It's like just straight up. Sound goes so crazy with this. What did Yosek just do? You should do his pocket. Is that a heart grenade? It's just so fun. Just so cool. Just so sick. Oh, I thought they were gonna do a lore drop. Oh my god. This is full disclosure. It's 2:38 in the morning right now. I feel more energetic than I did when I started rushing videos. This is so fucking cool. The lore was incredible. I was feeling dejected because I didn't know how I was going to make the connection. And then I made a connection that works for me. Maybe it's not the case, but I'm leaving this video feeling incredibly satisfied. I've listened to the whole album. You guys will see it tomorrow. Hopefully you enjoy that. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Again, if you're a new person and you've lasted to this far watching my dumbass, maybe we vibe together. I have, this is going to be part 38. Ateez deep dive. Seriously, I've listened to every single song they've ever released in the mainline discography. So yeah, you can go check that out. Hopefully stick around. People that have been with me this whole time. This sounds like the end of the culmination of events. There's still one more video coming out, but it is for me as I record this. Thank you so much. I love and cherish you all. I'll see you soon. Peace.